Welcome back, everybody. We're going to continue with our program now. Again, we're talking about New Year celebrations in different parts of the world. You know, there's no other place I'd rather be than here in lovely Taiwan, but if you happen to be stuck in other countries, you can make the best of it and enjoy the New Year's holiday with the folks there. Now, we just got done talking about Japan, right?
Right.
What exactly do they do there again?
Well, they really celebrate this particular holiday. In fact, to prepare for it, they like to give their homes a good cleaning or a good clean. They like to use that broom and they sweep out their past troubles. So that's their way of saying they're getting a fresh start. Remember, the new year's a time for you to turn over a new leaf, get a fresh start, put your best foot forward, get off on the right foot. All of those phrases are things we say to say, okay, maybe my past wasn't so great, but I'm going to change things and do better.
Now, again, we talked about New Year in Japan, but the celebration in New Year, or the celebration for New Year in Japan, will seem pretty quiet when compared to what they do in South Africa. Now, if you want to take two things and talk about how they're the same and how they're different, you compare those things, and we use this pattern here with the preposition to, compared to something else. So I could say, well, compared to you, I'm tall, whereas you're short. That's compared, right?
That's right.
It's all relative, right? So it doesn't really matter there. But again, compared to what they do in South Africa, Japan's New Year celebration might seem kind of quiet, not as noisy as what they do in the southern part of Africa.
Well, to compare to is our word power word. Let's listen to some more definitions.
Word power.
Hi, and welcome to Word Power. Today's word is compare to. In today's article, we read that New Year celebrations in Japan seem quiet compared to those in South Africa. Compare to is a verb phrase which means to look for the differences between two things. People often compare one movie to another. They might say something like, compared to Spider-Man 2, I thought Spider-Man 3 was a terrible movie. Comparison is the noun form of compare, and it means when the differences and similarities of two or more people or things are looked at. For example, you might make a comparison of two books and say, in comparison with Twilight, New Moon is not a very good book. That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for listening.
Okay, so what exactly do they do in South Africa that is so exciting? Well, they have all these musicians, not just 2 or 5 or 10 or 100 of them, but thousands of these musicians, people who play music. So they've probably got drums and trumpets and guitars, pianos, flutes, anything. All sorts of musicians are out there playing together and having a good time. And they're also going to go parading through the streets.
Yeah, parade is often used as a noun. Here we're using it as a verb. If you use it as a verb, it means you're going to march down a street or walk down a street. Usually there are a large group of people who are parading down the street. And usually, too, there are musicians that join the parade, or maybe you have some big floats. Those are those vehicles that are all decorated with flowers or different things like that. Parades are very popular. Well, they parade through the streets in a giant party that they call Minstrel Carnival. Now, when it's a giant, it's huge, and it's much bigger than normal. Now, I wouldn't describe you as a giant, Tom.
Well, I'm trying to describe it a little bit, but I guess it's a huge carnival.
Yeah.
I know what a carnival is. It's a huge party, a huge celebration, like Carnival in Brazil.
Right.
But what's this minstrel thing?
Yeah, minstrel is sort of an old-fashioned word. In the Dark Ages or the Middle Ages, they used to have people called minstrels who would perform, and they would go from city to city. They were usually musicians or poets. And that was the way they made a living. That's the way they earned money, was to be a performer. We don't call them minstrels that much anymore, but this is the particular name of this parade, the Minstrel Carnival, and it sounds like a lot of fun.
Okay, and it climaxes with a series of singing, dancing, and costume competitions in a huge stadium. So to climax means to reach a peak. So it kind of builds up with these parades, and then the most exciting part, the climax, is these celebrations and these contests or competitions that involve singing and dancing and, of course, costumes, the clothes they wear.
Yeah.
These will be a series of competitions that will take place in an arena or a stadium. It's sure a sight not to miss.
Yeah, a stadium is a very large place. It's an arena usually where sporting events are held, and there are seats that the fans can sit in. I did want to mention, if you see a movie and it's an action movie, a lot of times a lot of exciting things happen, but at the very end, that's the climax, the most exciting moment of the entire movie. So this sounds like a lot of fun. And they end up in this huge stadium with competitions. This is seen as a celebration of life. It's great to be alive, and it's also a new way to begin the year, filled with joy and happiness.
Yeah, South Africa certainly has a strong musical tradition, and you will enjoy it if you're there during the new year. Okay, everybody, it's time now to listen to our Chinese teacher one more time, and then we'll be back to chat.